Hello there, welcome back to Craft Therapy. It has been about 2 months now to get to this point. I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there from now. There is some yard work taking place somewhere in the community. So every now and then a weed whacker might chip in. If it does, I will either talk over that part, or if I'm not talking at that point in time, there it is, I will edit it out. But I did a little bit of a test run while it was running earlier, and I think you can hear me clearly, so just tune it out, okay? But I have to get this done today. Oh, today, by the way, is Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, and I have to get this done today if I want to keep up with the editing schedule that I've set for myself with regards to uploading. So as I speak, part 2 I think has already been uploaded. Part 2 was published on Friday of last week, and part 3 is scheduled to be released this Friday. So I'm trying to keep ahead. So what I'm doing today is not to be ready by Friday, so that way I'm not putting myself under too much of a time pressure. So I have to get this done today, because this is going to be 2 sets of recording put together. So let me stop the talking and just discuss this. So we are now finished with all our motifs. It has taken me 2 months to get to this point. I started the first week in August. It's now the 1st of October. So 2 months to get to this point. But I think that we are over the halfway mark right now, because these motifs take a while to crochet each of them. It's like half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour to crochet just one motif. Not to mention these big ones. These take a couple hours to crochet if I'm doing one straight, because by the time you get up here, one row is taking 30 minutes. So that takes a while, but to put them together should not take that long. So here is what we're going to be doing. These are all the extras, because when I was doing the motifs, I did like 20 of each version or category. These are all the extras. We're going to find some use for them, some at some point in the blouse. Don't need those right now. These are all of our colored motifs that I've put together, and this is what we're going to be using to begin the front and the back of the blouse. Now, before I go any further, let me show you the potential layouts that I had for this. Let me see if you can see my phone. This was potential layout 1. It's a bit dark. Looks a bit dark. Potential layout 2. Potential layout 3. 4. And this is the one I've settled on, 5. It may not be clear, but I've settled on option 5. We're going to see how option 5 plays out right now. So let me put this away. Put a few things away. But I just put everything out so that you could see exactly what we've accomplished in the 2 months. Now I'm going to be joining this to black, right? Sun is coming through the window. The window is open today. I'm going to be joining this to black. But what I'm thinking of doing, rather than using the black as the joiner, I'm going to use the colored thread, the turquoise, as the joiner. I think the colored on the black will have a little bit more of a pop, a little bit more of a pizzazz. That was a spoonerism. I was going to say poof and pizzazz together, so I ended up with poop. Or was that it? Anyway, I'm going to be putting the turquoise onto the black So I'm going to leave the turquoise out. I'm not joining these right now because I'm going to have to do these off camera so that I don't bore you to death. So all I'm really going to be demonstrating is the joining of the bigger pieces, which we kind of have the concept. Can put these away as well. We kind of have the have the concept of what the joining entails, and all I'm going to be demonstrating is how we're now joining those mismatched colors, right? So let's get, I think I'm gonna need another one of this. I'll look back at the pattern in a few, but let's get started. And what we will be doing with this video, as I said, I'm showing you how I join the two different colors, different from when we were doing the joining of the colors with the base colors. How we join the two different colors, how it looks, and then afterwards I will do everything else off camera, and the second half of the video will be showing you the finished, put together finished front and back panels, and we'll take it from there. So without any further ado, I didn't expect the sun to be so bright. Usually it's a bit overcast and cloudy. Maybe if I pull that, it's going to be pretty. Oh, it's a little bit better actually. So let me, I wonder if I close the windows, if the waka will be a little bit less as well. Alright, let us close the windows and turn on the desk light and see how that looks. Can we work with that? I think we can work with this, right? Let's see. I think we can work with this. And there's no breeze today for the curtain to be interrupting what I'm doing. I think I can work with this. Let's work with this. Because I don't like this, the look of the sun, just this streak of sun across the work. It's a bit dazzling. Alright, so let's get into it. Let me go back to the patterns. Alright, here we are. So what I have is the turquoise color, one turquoise color being split between two black panels. So it's going to be something like this. It's going to be something like that for starters. So it's going to be a part, one side of the color here, and then another side of the color there. Or is it? Yes. So it's going to be turquoise, black, black down here, turquoise, black, and a third black over here. So I'm going to do just one side for this half of the video. I'm going to do just one side of it and do the rest off camera as per usual. So let me bring you a little bit closer. There we go. And get started. So we are using the same joining stitch that I have been using. So you see, this was the era of not figuring out how to weave in these ends. So that's why you have so many ends sticking out. But we're going to be using the same joining stitch. This time around though, it's going to be for a much longer piece. So let's grab our thread and get started, shall we? How was your week, by the way? what kind of crafting have you been up to? During the course of this week, well, actually, I could have started this already, but because I have committed to taking you through the journey with me, I couldn't move ahead. So no, that is another reason why I have to do this today, in spite of the interruptions that we're having, because I don't want to not crochet for even a day. And I think I've literally been off task for maybe 3 days now. Today is Tuesday. I didn't do anything yesterday. Yesterday I was out in the garden. We have been having quite a bit of rain, and my yard is like a forest. I will not even hesitate to say that my yard is a bit overgrown. Well, a bit being an understatement as well, right? And so because it was overcast, I don't like working in the sun in the garden, I must say. I don't like working in the sun. So I took advantage of the fact that it was an overcast morning and got quite a bit of weeding done, which I am very, very happy and grateful for. Now, another thing that is happening here, back to the work. You see, because this is black, it's a little bit hard to see where some of those stitches that I need are. So I have to be very careful with going in and out. And I think after I get the hang of it, it will not be too much of a challenge, right? So of course we have two ends that we're trying to weave in as we go. So let me bring that forward. Right, so I got quite a bit of gardening done yesterday. I got some weeds pulled up at the back section that I share with a neighbor. I got some tomato seedlings transplanted. That was in the afternoon, well, further in the evening. I got a little bit more of my back porch done. It's all DIY, by the way. I'm no professional in anything, and so it's all temporary holding place DIY just to keep the weeds at bay until we actually do what we're doing with that back section of the house. So I got a little bit more done on the patio that I am redoing. And what else did I get done? I think that's about it. I got some weeding done, got the patio done, got the tomatoes transplanted, and that's about it. Oh, I don't like that. You see, this is what I was talking about. I don't know if you can see it. Let's adjust and then adjust the focus. I hope you don't mind my talking while I'm working, because you know it's a part of the therapy. This is not a teaching dogmatic channel. So this is what I was saying. That one stitch is out there because I grabbed one and not two of the stitches, and it sort of makes it look untidy to me. So I'm going to pull it out and go back and try and find the top of it and grab the double and not the single. So you have to be very careful because you want the work to be neat. You don't want to be looking at it and you're seeing any gaps and stitches looking as if they're straining. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, it's taking a little bit of finagling, but I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. Right, so I was asking you, how was your day? How was your weekend? What did you get done? Have you committed to getting some crafting into your life? You know, crafting isn't rocket science. If you check a few of my earlier videos, just coloring is therapeutic. Well, for some people, gardening is therapy, because a friend of mine sent me some videos of her gardening explorations on Saturday. And, you know, she says that that's her little therapy, and that's quite okay. The point is, whatever it is that relaxes you, makes you happy, apart from medication, you know, invest in it. Do it. Because in this day and age, our brains can surely take a break from the hustle of life. You know what I mean? Because life is all about a hustle, you know. And we do need to take a breather every now and then. I'm just trying to get to that first change space. I don't know if it's because I've been away from the needle for such just a few days. You know, it's almost as if I have to be relearning, and it's a little bit slow going. But in a nutshell, this is how it's going to pan out. We're using the same stitch that we used to join these smaller motifs to join our big motif to our small motif. And I'm going to be doing all of this off camera. So that's how it's looking. That's how it's looking. I'm going to be doing all of the panels off camera. What I will do though, I will finish this and then come back, show you what it looks like, and then off camera I'll join everything else and show you that at the end of it all. So see you in a few, well, maybe a couple minutes for me, like half an hour for me, but just a second for you. See you in a bit. Okay, so this is 0.5 of a second, because we're not quite at the end yet, but I brought you back just to show you where I'm at. At one point I was wondering, should I switch and do the black on the colored instead of the colored on the black? But I think I'm kind of liking it. I can work with it. But I brought you back prematurely because I realized that I am at the end of one of the colored pieces, but the black has no counterpart. So what I'm going to do, so I'm at actually the last stitch in the cluster before the corner. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 stitches in this black space here. So one is already in, so I'm going to put 1 stitch here in this corner on this side, and here I have 2 more threads to weave in. Let me wiggle around them a bit. Purple, you're not in the mix, stay in your zone. Oh, I'm looking for the other thread that I need to weave in, because I know it's there somewhere, and I need to keep them where I can see them so that I don't grab them by accident, and I know how to work them in. Right? So I'm going to put 1 in that corner there. Something didn't come through. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. So I have 1 in the black space already. I'm gonna put 1 in this corner here, and then I'm gonna put another in the same black space. So the black space at the juncture is going to have 2, another in the black space, and then on the colored space where we would normally have jumped over to the other, I'm going to jump over to the other corner and put 1. And then keep it going like that. So let me just do the first stitch in this cluster so we can take a look and see how it looks. I've been having a little challenge with my tension. That's it, you know, sometimes just a day, for me at least, just a day or two break from crochet, it's like my fingers have to relearn tension all over again. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, by the time I get into doing all of these joinings, I'll be back, so to speak. Let me just finish this cluster and then we can see how that joining looks. And there's also something else that occurred to me, which is now making me think whether or not I should use the black rather than the colored. I'm gonna discuss that in a bit, but here's our joining. It doesn't look too bad, does it? This is where the joining on the other two are. This is where we have joined it on the black going down. So right, so another thing that occurred to me is after we're finished with that, we're going to have to put on another black here, another black here, wait a minute, you know, it's not going to be a problem, come to think of it, because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to find a way to join the blacks here, but the pattern is not going to be calling for black here. It's going to be another colored block, so scrap that, right? Rewind, come again, forget I just said all of that, because I was thinking, and that's why sometimes it's good to talk things through, because I was saying, oh no, I'm going to have to be joining black to black and changing color. No, I'm not. It's fine, it's fine. What I will do, however, is when I'm finished with, so it's going to be a little bit more segments to this video than I thought originally. When I'm finished with this side, I don't think I need to bring you back because you already know how we end that. What I'm going to do off camera is finish this side, and then, although I would want to go on to the other side of the collar, I'm going to put the other motif panel in so that we can see exactly how we started when we already have an established corner like that. So this video is going to be me joining this, which you've already seen me start it, and how we start another motif from here going down, and then ultimately off camera to do all the joinings for the front and the back and bring you back and show you the finished panels. So again, see you in a few. All right, so today is Wednesday, October 2nd. I finished, well, I'm about 3/4 of the way through with the color. This is the color that we're working on. So this side is finished, but I have the other side working on. I didn't come back to it yesterday because I had a couple other things that I had to get done. So I decided that I would come back to do this section that I wanted to show you today. So let's get to that. So what's going to be happening here is, let me zoom you out. Forgive me, I'm not a camera techie person, so you know I have to adjust as I go. I'll zoom it back in when I'm done showing what I'm showing you. So essentially, this is the back panel. It looks a bit wide, maybe it's about 24 inches, but I'm a big girl, you know what I mean? So it's all good. So the intention now, since I have it like this, the purple is going to be the next segment, and then the blacks again, and then the pink, and then the bottom of the shirt is going to be the turquoise again. So what I want to show you is how I intend to join the purple to these two sections here. It looks like rocket science, but it really isn't. It just takes a little bit of thought and figuring out the direction in which to go. I'm going to be using the same joining stitch that I have been using, and I'm going to be using the same concept of having the color on the black rather than the black on the color. So I do the same thing. I start with a slip knot. I think it's time I bring you back closer. Alright, start with a slip knot. Take it on this side. If anyone is doing this pattern with me, maybe not for a blouse or anything, but you know, you're experimenting with granny squares and multiple colors, multiple panels and whatever, I mean, let me know. Tell me how your journey is going. Now here's where I need to get a little well, not technical, but I need to figure it out, so to speak, because essentially I'm going to be joining it like this in here. So I'm going to have one section going this way, one section coming this way. So I need to be careful where I'm putting what. I think what I'm going to do is, for this side, I'm going to take it, for the left side that I'm working on now, I'm going to take it from, and the black is so dark you can barely see it, but you know what I'm talking about. The corner, that space in the corner, I'm not going to take it from over here. I'm going to take it from the space in the corner and work my way down. And then I think when I have that joined and I come back to do this, I will do the same thing, take it from the corner and work my way down. But let me see how this side fares out first, and then I will bring you back for this side. So let's get this one started. So we're doing the same thing in terms of using our slip stitch. Find the corner. Well, let me check if there are any. Well, there are some ends that could be woven in, but I think I will leave them out until I get to the other side for this one. That's a plane passing over if you hear that disturbance in the background. I live so far from the airport, you'd think that it's right down the road from me, but it really isn't. I'm in a whole other parish. So we got that started. I'll do the same thing back and forth. I'm just going to do a few to see how it looks. Make sure that we're getting it neatly done. Find that first stitch. The black is so hard to see sometimes. I don't like working with the black at nights because it's so dark. It really does strain the eyes if you're working with dark threads overall at nights. So when I was doing these black granny squares, I tried my best to do them as much as possible during the daytime because I could easily work with the pink and the turquoise at nights. The purple is a bit problematic at nights as well, but I could easily work with the pink and the turquoise at night. So I tried my best to do the darker colors during the day and the lighter colors during the night. Alright, we're getting somewhere, it seems. Okay. So we're at the first space already, just like that. Just like that. Come on, be nice, be good. I don't like when I have to slip it off the needle, you know, because sometimes it gets a little bit finicky after that. So let's get back into the space again, finish that round. Alright, so let's take a look. So it's looking pretty much the same as, you know, all the other finishing stitches. It looks pretty much the same to me. Alright, so I'll bring you back when I'm at the end of this section so we can see how it looks overall. And starting this section to see how that looks overall. All right, be back in 1 second for you, but a couple minutes for me. And we are back. I didn't even check how long that took me, but we're back. So this is what it is looking like. That's what it's looking like. Very neat. As I said, I chose this stitch because it lines up with the other stitches, you know what I mean? So I think we are on our way. Now is when I'm checking to make sure it's on the right side and not the wrong side. Alright, it's on the right side. So here's what I'm going to do with this section. This section here. You see all of these hanging offs? This was in the early stages when I did not yet discover the trick to weaving them in as I went. But I'll weave them in afterwards. That's all good. So we have 3 threads here that we want to weave in, and it's gonna be 4 when I start the slip knot. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the stitches here and here, so it's gonna be on the black and the purple and not on the black and turquoise or black and black. I just want to ensure that this middle section here doesn't end up with a gap or anything like that. Maybe when I'm finished with the blouse, depending on how these intersections look, I might do a little, like a tiny little rosette. So like I would make this rosette pink, since it's turquoise and purple that are meeting. I'll make the rosette pink, like maybe just about a 1/2 inch in diameter or something, but again it depends on how it looks when I'm done. So let me get this started, and then we can finish off adding that square. Same principle, we do our slip knot. So we're finding now this corner on the black and get our working thread going through that. Slip stitch. There we go. So now we have 4 ends to weave in. That's going to be a little bit of a conundrum, but let's see how best we can do it now. Pull them forward. Make sure I have the 4, so it should be 2 purple, 1 black, 1 turquoise. There we have it. Pull them forward. Go to my... Okay, got that, got that. Go to the corner on the other side here. Working thread underneath. Pull up and through. Got that. So we have our 4 cords or 4 threads on top to weave in. So let's very carefully start this cluster and start the weaving in process. Give me a second, let me get that full. And we're back. So we are going to pick up where we left off, just to get the weaving in started, and then it should be smooth sailing thereafter. Alright, so we have the front done, so let's get into the back in terms of the back stitch over here. I'm not going to do the entire thing with you because I think by now you should be able to do this stitch in your sleep. Just going to do the first cluster to ensure that we secure the ends that we're weaving in, so they will fall naturally in the stitch pattern as we are going down the line. Second one. See what I was telling you, that it takes a little bit of finagling sometimes when you get started, because it looks like the stitch is already done, but because you know where you are in the work, you know it's not yet done. Whenever it is a little bit tight coming through, I always pull up the loop to make sure that it's free, it's moving freely and not tangled up with another piece of thread underneath there somewhere. So like when it was giving a little bit of a problem just now to come through, I just pull it through just like that to make sure it's completely free. As you crochet and you get more adept at what you're doing, you'll figure out your own unique way of doing things. And we'll keep it moving from there. You'll figure out your tension. You'll figure out your needles. For example, this needle, I bought this needle years ago, maybe decades ago. And it's not the only needle that I have. I have maybe over a dozen crochet needles. But they're all packed away nicely and neatly. You know, artifacts. But this is my one shall I go needle. The one that I fall back on for this type of thread anyway. And if I end up crocheting yarn, I have one particular needle that's my favorite to use when I'm doing yarn. The only issue is because yarn sometimes comes with different weights or what they call sizes or whatever terminology they use to define yarn. Sometimes I do have to get a smaller or a larger needle if I'm doing the yarn. But definitely for this crochet thread, this is my one shall I go needle. Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look. As I said, I'm not gonna bore you with the entire thing, but let's take a look now and see how we're looking here. How we're looking. We're looking good, aren't we? Let me bring you closer. We're looking real good, I think. And when the entire blouse is finished, all of these little wonky looking seams will be sorted out. But we are getting somewhere. So the next time that you see me, I am going to be having both the back and the front of the blouse completely done. And then we're going to have to make some decisions in terms of where we're going from that point. But that is technically it for this video. At the end, I will put the footage of the completed panels. Today is Wednesday, so hopefully that doesn't take me beyond Friday, because I like to edit on a Friday and upload and set it in the schedule, because this is not going to be on this Friday, which is the first week in October. This is going to be for the second week in October that you're going to be seeing this, although I'm filming from the first week in October. I'm trying to stay a week ahead so that if I have a week where the project is lagging, I don't have nothing on the channel, okay? So that's it. So see you at the end for the completion of both panels, and have a good one. Get to crafting. Remember, busy hands, peaceful mind. Thank you for joining Craft Therapy. Have a good one.